In the years preceding World War II, as Adolf Hitler's empire kept significantly growing in size and popularity, the German chancellor also expanded his horizons, even all the way to the Himalayas. Less than 1 year before the outbreak, the German dictator gifted the King of Nepal with the nation's first motorized vehicle, a 1938 Mercedes Benz. The vehicle arrived on the shoulders of local men, as can be seen in footage taken that day. But behind the strange present lies a peculiar story of mysticism, lore, racial pseudo-science, political intrigue, and a missing luxury car. The roof of the world. Also called the roof of the world, the Himalayan mountains in East Asia are also known to be in the highest region in the world. While Nazi militarists imagined Tibet and surrounding Nepal as a potential base to attack Berth's Commonwealth India and hoped that the mission would lead to an alliance with the Tibetans, they were also interested in Tibet for another reason. Some German leaders, including Adolf Hitler and Heinrich Himmler, believed the Tibetan mountains harbored the last original Aryan tribes, the supposed legendary ancestors of the German race. According to Nazi ideology and lore, this superior Nordic race had lived unbothered for centuries in the fictional lost city of Atlantis, keeping their noble blood pure. Believed to have once been situated in the Atlantic Ocean between England and Port Fula, the mythical island allegedly sunk after a strike by a divine thunderbolt. According to Hitler, the few surviving Aryans then moved on to more secure places, committing the crime of mixing their blood with local people and losing the attributes and superpowers that made them racially superior to all other humans on Earth. The Himalayan region was believed to be one of the places where the refugees went after the sinking of the island, and due to its height and remoteness, Hitler believed that there were groups of Aryan humans without mixed blood living somewhere in Tibet. A long search. For years, Himmler, along with a special unit within the Schutzstaffel paramilitary organization, had been studying the whereabouts of the Atlantis citizens after the bolt and subsequent deluge of the island to try to trace the remainders of the greatest race in the world. Only a year before the conflict began, Himmler, a leading member of the Nazi Party and future architect of the Holocaust, sent a Hitler-approved 5-member team on a mission to Tibet. If the expedition was successful, the German chancellor believed the Aryans would use their special powers and abilities to help the Nazis and conquer the world. The Schaefer expedition, partly funded by the Ahnenerbe and friends of Himmler and other private contributors, departed from Genoa, Italy on April 21, 1938, with a team led by Nazi explorer Ernst Schaefer and other young geologists, filmmakers, and anthropologists. The ship carrying the 5 Nazi explorers docked in Sri Lanka in early May. From there, the men traveled throughout several Indian cities on their way to Tibet. Weary of the traveling Germans, British authorities in India first believed them to be spies and hesitated to grant the men entry into the Tibetan land. However, the party's resolve won, and after an arduous journey, the Germans entered Tibet by the end of the year, with swastika flags tied to their donkeys and bags. A Mercedes for a king. Hitler's fascination with the High Asia region, whether because of the alleged mysticism surrounding the area or its geopolitically strategic location, never ceased. And as the 5 men trekked across the Himalayas, the German ruler also focused his attention on the leaders of the area. That same year, Hitler sent the Nepalese king Tribhuvan a strange gift all the way from Berlin to the mountainous Nepal capital of Kathmandu, an ancient and remote city located several days' walk from the outside world. The gift was a 1938 luxury Mercedes Benz, one of the first cars built in the country. The luxurious automobile had to be carried by a group of local men to be presented to the king, part of which was caught on camera. By then, the expedition team had measured almost 500 Tibetan skulls and features and had made casts of their heads and collected finger and handprints of several hundred citizens for further research. The men had also gathered thousands of ethnographic artifacts, capturing it all in over 18,000 meters of film and over 40,000 photographs. Then, in August of 1939, not even halfway through the mission to find the last remaining pure Aryans, the trip was abruptly cut short when war became imminent. Himmler then arranged for the team's flight back to Germany only weeks before World War II began. Although 28-year-old zoologist Ernst Schaefer kept most of his stolen treasures in his Salzburg castle during the war, most of the footage and materials were ruined once the Allied forces took over Germany in 1945. The other pseudo-scientific results of the expedition also met a grim fate during the war. All the material was lost or destroyed, and the shame of the Nazi past led to no efforts to trace the whereabouts of the relics and footage after the war. The mystery of the Mercedes. In 2008, after a 10-year civil war, a specially elected assembly dominated by Maoist former rebels overwhelmingly voted to abolish the monarchy, turning Nepal into a secular republic. Thus, King Gyanendra, King Tribhuvan's grandson, was dethroned, ending the family's 2-century-long reign, and the dynasty's pagoda-roofed palace was turned into a museum. From then on, the whereabouts of the unique Mercedes are clouded in mystery. According to one theory, sometime after the war, the vintage 1938 Mercedes Benz was sent to a Kathmandu college. While there, the sports car was used as teaching material for future engineers and mechanics. It is said that sometime after the king's dethronement, the car, by then in lousy shape and in urgent need of restoration, was put into storage due to the college's lack of funds to repair it. Then, in 2010, after years of abandonment, Ministry of Culture official Motorized Dotel announced the government's plan to repair the automobile, as well as a chariot once used by King Tribhuvan, to be put into a museum. In a statement from Dotel to news agency Reuters, the job that would cost over $537,000 would allow museum visitors to drive the car and remind them of the political changes the country had undergone in the last few decades. Still, there's been no news regarding the reparations for over a decade. Another theory completely contradicts the whereabouts of the gifted car. According to Janak Rajya Lakshmi Shah, the daughter of former Nepalese Prime Minister Jada Shumsher Rana, Adolf Hitler did not donate the Mercedes Benz to King Tribhuvan. As stated by Shah, the olive green automobile was actually presented to her Prime Minister father in order to win over soldiers for the Nazi regime during World War II. Hitler donated the car to Nepal, believing the gift would persuade the Prime Minister to take the side of Britain and France that waged war against Germany after the Polish invasion. After ruling for 13 years, Prime Minister Jada Shumsher left to settle down in Dehradun, India, taking the Mercedes with him and his family. After his passing in the 1950s, the car was then inherited by Janak Rajya Lakshmi Shah and her brother, who both drove the car constantly for almost 20 years. To this day, the exact whereabouts of the 1938 Mercedes Benz, believed to be the first motorized vehicle to enter Nepal, remains unknown. Thank you for watching our video. Let us know your thoughts about the strange and mythical SS expedition and the sports car presented to the King of Nepal. And for more exciting historical content, subscribe to all the Dark Documentaries channels. Stay tuned.